Hi Stitchy friends, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Kenzie from Mud Puppy Stitchery, and I am a cross stitch designer. I am a bird nerd and a wildlife lover, and I enjoy doing all of the crafty things. So if you're new, welcome. I hope that you like what you see, and I hope that you'll continue to follow up with me on all of my future videos. For my current subscribers, thank you so very much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. Hi everyone, I hope you've been well. It's been a couple weeks since my last video and my subscriber numbers jumped because of my WIP parade. So I wanted to thank those of you who are just joining in. I really appreciate it. I have quite a few things to share with you that are not only cross stitch related, but also some crocheting and even building a Lego kit. I'm most definitely a multi-crafter, and I really enjoy making and trying all of the things. So I hope that you'll like that too and stick with me. I've also been known to dabble in some beading and some macrame, and it brings me so much joy to be able to jump from one craft obsession to another and share my results with you on this channel. And I really hope that this inspires you to try something new and to go outside of your crafting comfort zone. But with that being said, I do have some amazing cross stitch to show you today. And I'd like to first showcase my two new bird patterns that I don't think I've shown you yet. I've definitely shown them on Instagram, but I have not featured them on my Flosstube. So the first one is the tufted titmouse, and the second one is Burke's parakeet in a pink trumpet tree. These were so fun to design, and I love the pretty colors in each of them. And as many of you know, I have a huge passion for birds and definitely plan on designing more bird charts in the future. So if you're interested in supporting me and purchasing a chart, please feel free to take a look at my Etsy page, which will be linked down below. But let's jump in, and let's first start out with a fully finished piece. So this is American Kestrel by Chickadee Needleworks on Etsy, and it was started beginning of October 2024 and finished beginning of January 2025. And this was stitched on an 18-count silver fox by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics. And this frame was actually a gold mirror that I found at Hobby Lobby, and it fit perfectly. So I removed the mirror and I painted a layer of black paint over top of the gold. But I wanted some of the gold to show through, and so I sloppily painted on the black and buffed some of it back with a paper towel. I think it turned out pretty good, and it gave a unique aged look that really contrasts against the bold modern cross-stitch design. And I made sure to paint a layer of Mod Podge over the inside edge of the frame where it will touch my cross stitch, just to make sure that no black paint rubbed off on my fabric. But yeah, I think it turned out really cute, and I am glad to finally be able to display them. My first WIP that I worked on is called Red-Bellied Whistling Ducks by Lindy Stitches. And it's being stitched on an 18-count silver fox by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics. And this was started September 28th of 2024. Now this chart is part of a series called the Bird Crush Bird Club, and there are around 10 other patterns similar to that feature an amazing bird. And I was able to make some significant progress these past couple weeks, and this is what I stitched on during the Super Bowl. I was able to complete the second duck, and I love the variegation in this red thread by Threadworks. It looks so pretty. And I worked on putting in the letters and worked on the little dock that they're sitting on. So this piece is just about complete, and hopefully by next video I'll have a finish that I can show you. And I just need to fill in behind the words here and stitch some foliage up towards the top, and then it will be done. So this has been a really quick and fun little stitch, and once I'm finished with this one, I will move on to another one in the Bird Crush Bird Club series. I'm thinking of starting the broad-billed hummingbird next, and just making sure that I always have one of these on the go because they're so much fun. And as far as finishing, I'd like to somehow incorporate a little pocket that sits next to the piece so that I can keep all of the beautiful photography and the little stickers that are included in the kits. And I think that would make a super interesting little display with all of its information easily accessible. I'm going to have to think about the logistics on how I'm going to accomplish that, but I think that would be a really fun finish. Another thing that I made in the past couple weeks was this really cool Lego kit called the Lucky Bamboo Set. TJ is very much into Legos, as much into Legos as I am into cross-stitch. So he often buys these beautiful nature botanical kits, and sometimes we'll build them together. So I built the Lucky Bamboo set and TJ built the mini orchid set, and I think they turned out beautifully. I'm sure you can guess that our home decor is very eclectic and fun with all of the cross-stitch and Lego displays, but I just love it. So if you're looking for a fun gift for someone or something fun for yourself, I would definitely recommend these little botanical kits. They are really fun and really quick to build. This next stitch is actually a restart, and that is my Modern Folk Embroidery Fruits of Plenty piece. So if you've watched some of my previous floss tubes, you'll know that I had so much trouble figuring out the fabric and the floss for this one. And I initially wanted the fabric to have a greenish hue, and then the two colors to be like a lavender and a dark purple. But once I received all the fabric and the floss and started on it, I just was not liking it. And as many of you had said, it's not worth to keep going on such a big piece if you're not happy with it, especially so early on. And so I went down a rabbit hole of trying different cottage garden threads that I loved, that were super colorful and variegated, but then realized stitching with those colors would create stripes of color, and I decided that really wasn't what I was looking for in the final piece. So I wanted something variegated, but one color with lighter parts and darker parts. So I started looking at the Threadworks website because in the Bird Crush Bird Club series with Lindy Stitches, she had included one variegated Threadworks floss in each kit, and I was really impressed with the variegation. And they have an incredible selection of colors on their website, and so I was finally able to narrow it down to one. So here's what it looks like so far, and I am really liking it. The fabric is 18 count Valor from Picture This Plus Fabrics, and the darker purple is Plumage from Roxy Floss Co., and the variegated pinky purple is Victorian Plum from Threadworks. So it was so nice to finally have made a decision and landed on something that I liked. I've always loved this pattern the most out of every yearly stitch along that Jacob has done so far, and so I am super pleased to be able to get a start on it. My goal for 2025 is to get across the top portion to the other side. So if I can at least do that, then I will be really, really happy. But I'm also planning on filling in these blank portions with white thread because I think it's going to be so much easier than counting around the intricate flowers and vines. But it's such a fun pattern and I'm so excited to keep working on it. In the past couple of weeks, I have gone a little crochet crazy and have been trying a whole bunch of things. And I really got into crochet color work, which means that I learned how to integrate multiple balls of different colored yarn into a single piece to change color every other stitch. So if it sounds difficult, it is, but it's also really fun, and I learned a lot along the way. So I watched a whole bunch of tutorials on YouTube and was able to get the general idea of it, and then promptly started a pattern with 8 colors in it. That was a big mistake and did not end so well, so I changed to a different design with less color changes, and it turned out super cute with this little coffee cup. This was definitely a learning experience, but I am really pleased with how it turned out. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this for. It kind of looks like one of those hot pads that you put a pan on when you're done cooking, but I don't think the yarn is meant to handle those hot temperatures, so I probably won't use it in that way. But either way, it was a good practice piece, and it led me to another much harder design with more colors. And I was able to make this, a cute little rabbit. Now, it is not well made at all, and the tension is atrocious, but I did it and I was able to complete it. So I'm really proud of that, and I think I've set aside my urge to create more crochet color work, at least for now. Another project that I started and got quite far on was this crochet dress, and this is a pattern from AC Crochets, and I'll make sure to link the video tutorial down below because it is excellent. And this is how far I've gotten. So the bodice is complete, and I'm currently working on the skirt portion. And it's going to take a while because I'd like it to hit right below my knees. But I think it's turning out pretty cute and it fits pretty well. The one thing I'm not happy about is that you can clearly see where I did my stitch decreases. So it stands out quite a bit, and it kind of looks like I made a mistake when I actually didn't. So I did some searching for YouTube tutorials on how to make invisible stitch decreases, and I found a way to do it. So next time I make another one of these dresses, I will try out that new technique and see how it looks. But this has been really fun, and I can't wait to show it to you when it's complete. Before I hop into more cross stitching, I'd like to move into another segment I like to call Wildlife Minute, where I give a little talk on wildlife, biology, animals, or anything that strikes my fancy. So hopefully you'll learn something new, and it will encourage you to take a deeper dive into the wonders of the natural world. But if you're just here for the crafty stuff, feel free to hop to this time point. Hi everyone, Wildlife Kenzie here. Today I'd like to talk to you about a super distinctive and widespread species of bird called the yellow-rumped warbler. This little species of warbler is found all across most of Canada, the US, and into Mexico. And depending on where you live, some birds migrate and other birds don't. Where I live in southern Minnesota, this species only migrates through, and we usually only get to see them in the springtime. So it's extremely special when you spot one. But they're extremely widespread, and they're also split into two subspecies called the myrtle warbler and the Audubon's warbler. Initially, they were considered two different species of birds, but because they are so closely related, they are currently considered one species. And if you talk to a birder, they may refer to these birds as butterbutts, because both males and females have that distinctive yellow rump, and so they are quite easy to identify. Yellow-rumped warblers are mainly insectivores, eating anything from spiders to grasshoppers to flies and anything in between. During the winter months when insects aren't available, they will eat berries such as wax myrtle, poison ivy, and dogwood. So depending on where you live, yellow-rumped warblers might be migrating through at this time, so definitely keep an eye out on your bird feeders for them. I hope you enjoyed today's Wildlife Minute, and let's head back to the stitching. Another WIP that I worked on was Jane Atkinson by the Scarlet Letter, and this was started on Easter of last year. And this is being stitched on an 18-count vellum by Picture This Plus Fabrics. So this is one of my absolute favorite WIPs to work on because the colors are just gorgeous and it's just so much fun. And this time I was able to get everything from this portion down. So I did a lot of outlining and a little bit of fill-in. So I think it's looking really good and I can't wait to get back to it. Something new that I tried on this piece was the pin stitch. And normally when I would finish a thread, I'd flip my hoop over and weave in the ends of the floss, which works well, but it's kind of annoying. And I've heard of other stitchers using the pin stitch, and so I looked up several YouTube tutorials on it and tried it out. At first, I was not really successful, and I had a lot of issues. And you can definitely see me practicing in this corner here. So you're supposed to do the pin stitch underneath your X. And you can do it vertically, horizontally, or diagonally if you really want to hide it. But I was having the hardest time trying to stitch it underneath my X. And so I stumbled upon a short where someone was talking about doing an alternative pin stitch. And this clicked for me and has been working really, really well. So instead of trying to do the pin stitch underneath one of your X's, she suggested doing a couple squares over and then doing the pin stitch in that open square so you can see what you're doing. But the trick is that you do the pin stitch in an area where you're going to cover it with X's anyway, so it hides it well. And this really clicked, and there's an advantage to doing it this way. Not only are you securing the floss with a pin stitch, you're also leaving a tail underneath that will be covered by your other stitches, so you are double assured that it won't undo. So I just wanted to share that just in case anybody else had trouble with pin stitches. But it's been really great to experiment on this piece with them and not have to flip my work over. And you can actually see some of the pin stitches here. But this is going to be all fill-in, so they'll be covered up nicely. And all of that aside, this will definitely be a focus piece this year, and I'd like to get a lot of progress on it. So I love it, and I can't wait to work on it again. This next piece is a new start of a chart that I won in a giveaway from Denise of Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, and it is the Bee Queen. And it's this beautiful chart by Tiny Modernist, and I've been really eager to get a start on it for a while. So for the fabric, I went a bit bold and went with Jalapeno by Fiber on a Whim Fabrics, and it's this bright lime greenish yellow. And I thought it would be perfect for making all of these floss colors really pop, and the white is showing up especially well. So I think it looks so good against the background color. And I only got a small start in the upper left-hand corner, but I'm really excited to work down so I can get to the Bee Queen. And as many of you know, I absolutely love bees and would love to have a bee wall display in my house, so that means I need to stitch more bees. But this has been really fun so far, and I'm excited to keep working on it. For my freebie this week, I wanted to share an old favorite of mine that I still have not stitched, and that is Light a Single Candle by Modern Folk Embroidery. So it's small, it's simple, but it's so beautiful and effective, and I just love it. So if you're interested in stitching this one, I will have it linked down below for you. And that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, please like the video, please comment down below, and check out my Etsy page, which will also be linked. And please follow me at Mud Puppy Stitchery on Instagram to keep an eye on what I'm doing in between videos. So I appreciate you so very much, and I hope to see you in a couple weeks. So take care, do some bird watching, and stitch all of the things. Bye!